The sound of a small voice calling help caught Kyle Robinson's attention as he hurried through Central Park on a crisp autumn morning. He was already late for his job at the auto repair shop, but something about the child's desperate cry made him stop in his tracks. Following the sound, Kyle spotted a boy no more than 6 years old huddled under a park bench, tears streaming down his face. "Hey there, buddy," Kyle said softly, crouching down to the child's eye level. "Are you lost?" The boy nodded, his lower lip trembling. "I can't find my mommy." Fresh tears welled up in his eyes. Kyle glanced at his watch. His boss would be furious, but he couldn't just leave this kid alone. "My name's Kyle. What's yours?" "Noah," the boy whispered, wiping his nose with his sleeve. "All right, Noah, I'm going to help you find your mom, okay?" Kyle extended his hand, and after a moment's hesitation, Noah took it. Kyle quickly called the auto shop, explaining the situation. His boss wasn't pleased, but Kyle was already pulling out his phone to dial 911 when Noah suddenly pointed to a poster on a nearby lamppost. "That's me," he exclaimed. Kyle moved closer to examine it. Sure enough, there was a missing child alert with Noah's picture description and a contact number. Kyle immediately dialed it. "Hello," a woman's voice answered, tense and breathless. "Hi, I've found a boy named Noah in Central Park." "I'm looking at your missing child poster right now," the woman gasped. "Oh my God, is he okay? Where exactly are you?" Kyle described their location near the playground, and the woman said she was only minutes away. While they waited, Kyle bought Noah a hot chocolate from a nearby vendor to calm his nerves. "So what happened, Noah? How did you get lost?" Kyle asked gently. Noah clutched his hot chocolate with both hands. "I was with my nanny, but I saw a puppy and followed it. Then I couldn't find her again." His eyes welled up once more. "Hey, it's okay," Kyle reassured him. "We all make mistakes. The important thing is you're safe now and your mom is on her way." "Noah," a woman's voice called out. They turned to see a striking woman in a tailored suit running toward them, her heels clicking against the pavement and her hair flying behind her. "Mommy." Noah jumped up and ran into her arms. She clutched him tightly, tears streaming down her face. "I was so worried, baby, so worried." Kyle stood awkwardly to the side, watching their reunion. The woman was clearly successful. Everything from her designer suit to her confident posture screamed high-powered executive. Meanwhile, Kyle was wearing his worn jeans and the faded t-shirt he wore for his mechanic job. Finally, the woman looked up at Kyle. "You found him," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "Just happened to be in the right place," Kyle said modestly. "I'm Hannah Donovan," she said, extending her hand. "CEO of Donovan Tech Solutions." Kyle's eyebrows shot up. Even he had heard of Donovan Tech. "Kyle Robinson. I fix cars at Al's Auto on 35th. Hannah's grip was firm, and her eyes, Kyle noticed they were a warm hazel, held his gaze intently. "Thank you, Kyle Robinson. I don't know how to repay you," Kyle shrugged. "No need, I'm just glad Noah's okay." Noah tugged at his mother's sleeve. "Mommy, Kyle bought me hot chocolate, and he told me not to be scared." Hannah smiled at her son, then back at Kyle. "At least let me buy you a proper coffee to thank you. Do you have time?" Kyle hesitated. He was already late for work, but something about Hannah Donovan made him want to stay. Actually, his phone rang, interrupting him. It was his boss, and judging by the series of texts that followed, Kyle no longer had a job to rush to. He sighed, shoving the phone back into his pocket. "Looks like my schedule just cleared up," he said with a wry smile. Hannah's brow furrowed. "Is everything okay?" Kyle shrugged. "Just lost my job, but hey, that coffee sounds good right about now." Hannah's expression shifted to one of determination. "The coffee's on me. And maybe we can talk about a few other things too." That coffee turned into breakfast, where Kyle learned that Hannah was a single mother who had built her tech company from the ground up. Noah sat between them, drawing pictures on a napkin while the adults talked. "So you're a mechanic?" Hannah asked, stirring her latte. Kyle nodded. I specialize in classic cars. It's not just a job for me, it's a passion." "And you lost that job because you stopped to help my son." The guilt in Hannah's voice was evident. Kyle waved it off. "Al's been looking for a reason to let me go for weeks. I've been late a few times because of my daughter, Lily." "You have a daughter?" Hannah asked, her interest piqued. "Yeah, she's 8. Lives with me full-time since her mom left 2 years ago." Kyle's expression softened at the mention of Lily. She's with my sister today. School's out for teacher training. Hannah studied him. Single dad, huh? That can't be easy with a job like yours. It's not, Kyle admitted, but we make it work, or we did until today. He glanced at his phone, already mentally calculating how long his meager savings would last. What will you do now? Kyle took a sip of his coffee. Start over, again, apply for jobs, pick up odd repair work. I'll figure it out. Hannah seemed deep in thought. Noah tugged at Kyle's sleeve, showing him a drawing of what appeared to be a superhero with a wrench. Is that me? Kyle asked, genuinely touched. Noah nodded enthusiastically. Your car fix man, the adults laughed, and Kyle felt a warmth he hadn't experienced in a long time. Hannah was easy to talk to, despite her obvious wealth and position. She listened intently as Kyle talked about his love for cars and his struggles raising Lily alone. I might have a proposition for you, Hannah said suddenly. Donovan Tech has a fleet of corporate vehicles, including some classics I've collected. We've been looking for an in-house mechanic. Would you be interested? Kyle blinked in surprise. Are you offering me a job? Consider it a proper thank you for saving Noah. She smiled. Plus, from what you've told me, you're exactly what we're looking for. The offer seemed too good to be true. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Noah chimed in, looking up from his drawing. Kyle laughed. Can I think about it? Hannah nodded, sliding her business card across the table. Call me tomorrow, and Kyle, thank you again. As they parted ways, Kyle couldn't help but feel like his life had just taken an unexpected turn. The next day, after dropping Lily off at school, Kyle called the number on Hannah's card. Mr. Robinson, Hannah answered formally, I was hoping you'd call. About that job offer. Kyle began, still available. Can you come in for a proper interview today? By that afternoon, Kyle was walking through the gleaming lobby of Donovan Tech Solutions. The receptionist led him to a garage beneath the building that housed a collection of vehicles that made Kyle's heart race, from sleek modern luxury cars to perfectly maintained classics. What do you think? Hannah appeared behind him, dressed in another impeccable suit but with a more relaxed demeanor than the day before. This is incredible, Kyle breathed, running his hand along the fender of a 1967 Mustang. This would be your domain, Hannah explained. Maintaining our corporate fleet, restoring the classics when needed, and being available for executive transportation needs. The salary she offered was more than double what Kyle had been making at Al's, with benefits that would cover both him and Lily. The hours were regular, with flexibility for school pickups and emergencies. This seems too good to be true, Kyle said cautiously. Are you sure you're not just feeling obligated because of Noah? Hannah's expression turned serious. Kyle, I don't make business decisions based on obligation. You're qualified, and we need someone like you. The fact that you helped Noah just means I know you have integrity. Kyle accepted the position, and within a week, he had settled into his new role. The job was everything he could have hoped for: challenging, fulfilling, and with hours that allowed him to be there for Lily. A month into his new position, Kyle was working late, restoring a vintage Jaguar when Hannah appeared in the garage doorway. Still here? She asked, surprising him. Kyle slid out from under the car. Just finishing up. This beauty needed some extra attention. Hannah moved closer, admiring the car. She had changed from her business attire into jeans and a simple blouse. Kyle was struck by how different she looked: more relaxed, more approachable. Noah keeps asking about you, she said. He's decided you're his hero. Kyle smiled, wiping his hands on a rag. How is the little guy? Good. Still having nightmares about getting lost, but they're getting better. She hesitated. Actually, he wanted me to invite you and Lily over for dinner this weekend, as a proper thank you. Kyle was surprised by the invitation. That's not necessary. I know, Hannah said quickly, but he's persistent. And honestly, it would be nice to have company that doesn't want to talk about quarterly projections for once. Kyle laughed. When you put it like that, how can I refuse? That Saturday, Kyle and Lily arrived at Hannah's penthouse apartment overlooking Central Park. Lily was initially shy, but Noah immediately took her hand and led her to his room to show her his toys. Your place is amazing, Kyle said, taking in the spacious, elegantly decorated apartment. Hannah shrugged. It's home. Sometimes it feels too big for just the two of us. As Hannah prepared dinner, Kyle helped, and they fell into an easy rhythm. He was surprised by how normal she seemed in this setting, far from the intimidating CEO he occasionally glimpsed at work. "How did you end up as a single mom?" Kyle asked as they chopped vegetables side by side. Hannah's hands paused momentarily. "Noah's father was a mistake, a brief relationship that ended before I even knew I was pregnant. When I told him, he made it clear he wasn't interested in fatherhood." "His loss," Kyle said simply. Hannah looked at him appreciatively. "What about Lily's mom?" Kyle's jaw tightened slightly. "Lisa decided motherhood and marriage weren't for her. She left when Lily was 6. That must have been hard on both of you." "It was. Still is, sometimes. Lily doesn't really remember her mom anymore, which is both sad and a relief." Dinner was a lively affair, with both children chattering excitedly. Kyle noticed how attentive Hannah was with Noah, despite her busy schedule. She clearly prioritized her son above all else, something Kyle respected deeply. After dinner, while the kids watched a movie, Kyle and Hannah sat on her balcony with glasses of wine. "You're different than I expected," Hannah admitted. "How so?" "Most men I meet are either intimidated by my position or see me as a trophy to be one. You just treat me like a person." Kyle shrugged. "That's what you are, a person, a mom, someone who happens to run a company." Hannah studied him in the dim light. "You make it sound so simple." "Maybe it is," Kyle suggested, "or maybe we just complicate things." When it was time to leave, Noah hugged Kyle tightly and Lily asked if they could come back soon. The adults exchanged glances, both surprised by how naturally the evening had flowed. "We'd like that," Hannah said softly. Over the next few months, their families grew closer. Hannah and Noah became regular fixtures at Kyle's modest apartment for movie nights, while Kyle and Lily enjoyed the amenities of Hannah's building the pool, the game room, and occasional fancy dinners. One evening, as they watched the kids playing in the park, Hannah turned to Kyle. "I've been meaning to ask you something." Kyle raised an eyebrow. "Sounds serious." "Noah's school has a father figure day coming up. He wants you to come." Kyle was taken aback. "Me? What about his real dad?" Hannah looked away. "As far as Noah is concerned, he doesn't have one. You're the only man who's ever been consistently in his life." The responsibility of Hannah's request wasn't lost on Kyle. "Are you sure about this?" Hannah met his gaze directly. "I've never been more sure of anything." The father figure day was a success, with Kyle helping Noah build a model car that won first prize. The pride on Noah's face when they placed the ribbon in Kyle's hand was worth everything. As they were leaving, Noah's teacher approached them. "It's so nice to finally meet Noah's father. He talks about you all the time." Before Kyle could correct her, Hannah slipped her hand into his. "We're just happy to be here for him." In the car afterward, Kyle couldn't help but address it. "You didn't correct his teacher." Hannah kept her eyes on the road. "Does it bother you?" Kyle considered this. "No," he realized. "It doesn't." That night after Noah had gone to bed, Hannah and Kyle sat on her balcony once more. "Kyle, I need to be honest with you," Hannah began. "I'm developing feelings for you that go beyond friendship." Kyle felt his heart race. "I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel the same way." Hannah leaned forward. "But I'm scared. My life is complicated. I have a company to run, and Noah has already gotten so attached to you and Lily. If this doesn't work..." Kyle reached out and took her hand. "Hannah, I don't know what the future holds, but I know that when I'm with you, everything makes sense in a way it never has before." Their first kiss was tentative, gentle, like they were both afraid of breaking something precious. When they pulled apart, Hannah's eyes were shining. "So, what now?" she whispered. "Now we take it one day at a time," Kyle said. "Together." Their relationship blossomed over the following weeks. They were careful to take things slowly, mindful of the children's feelings. But it became increasingly clear to everyone that they were becoming a family. Hannah was impressed by Kyle's unwavering dedication to Lily and his genuine affection for Noah. Kyle admired Hannah's strength, her business acumen, and the tender way she balanced being a CEO and a mother. 3 months into their relationship, they faced their first significant challenge. Kyle received a call that Lily had fallen at school and broken her arm. He rushed to the hospital, only to find Hannah already there, holding Lily's hand and speaking calmly to the doctors. I was in a meeting nearby when the school called, Hannah explained. I hope you don't mind that I came. Kyle was overwhelmed with gratitude. Mind, Hannah, you dropped everything to be here for my daughter. That night, after Lily was settled at home with her new cast, Hannah confessed, I was so scared when I got that call. All I could think was that's my girl in pain. Kyle looked at her in surprise. Your girl? Hannah nodded, tears in her eyes. Is that crazy? I've known her for such a short time, but Kyle, I love that little girl, almost as much as I love her father. It was the first time either of them had used the word love, and it hung in the air between them like a tangible thing. I love you too, Kyle said finally. Both of you. As winter turned to spring, their relationship deepened. Kyle and Lily spent most nights at Hannah's apartment, and the four of them settled into a routine that felt remarkably like family. One evening, as they prepared dinner together, Kyle broached a subject that had been on his mind. Hannah, do you ever think about where this is going? Us, I mean. Hannah paused, a knife hovering over the cutting board. All the time, and she set the knife down and turned to face him. I think about waking up next to you every morning, about officially becoming a family, about maybe even expanding our family someday. Kyle's heart swelled. I think about those things too. Hannah stepped closer to him. But I worry. My life is so public. The board, the shareholders, they all have opinions about my personal life, and there's still such a double standard for female CEOs. You're worried about how it would look if you married your mechanic, Kyle said, trying to keep the hurt from his voice. Hannah's eyes widened. No, that's not it at all. I'm worried about how the scrutiny might affect you and Lily. The press can be brutal. Kyle reached for her hands. Hannah, I don't care about any of that. I care about us, you, me, Noah, and Lily. Whatever comes our way, we'll face it together. That weekend, they took the kids to a cabin Hannah owned in the Catskills. While Noah and Lily explored the woods under the watchful eye of Hannah's assistant who had accompanied them, Kyle and Hannah had a moment alone by the lake. I've been thinking about what you said, Hannah began, about facing things together. Kyle nodded, skipping a stone across the water's surface. I've spent my entire adult life building walls to protect myself and Noah. Being a woman in tech, being a single mother, I thought I had to be invulnerable. She took a deep breath. But then you came along with your kind eyes and your gentle strength, and suddenly, those walls didn't seem necessary anymore. Kyle turned to her, his heart pounding. I love you, Kyle Robinson. You and your beautiful daughter have changed our lives in ways I never imagined possible. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small box. So I'm asking if you'll marry me, if you'll make our family official. Kyle stared at the box in her hand, then at her face, vulnerable, hopeful, and more beautiful than he'd ever seen it. You're proposing to me, he asked, incredulous. Hannah smiled nervously. I've never been good at following traditional gender roles. Kyle laughed, then pulled her into his arms. Yes, he whispered against her hair. 1,000 times yes. When they told the children, Lily squealed with delight and Noah asked, very seriously, if this meant Kyle would be his real dad now. If you want me to be, Kyle said, kneeling to Noah's level, but I'll never try to replace your biological father or make you forget him. Noah considered this, then threw his arms around Kyle's neck. I want you to be my dad, I pick you. The wedding was a small affair. Just family and close friends gathered in the garden of their new home, a compromise between Kyle's modest lifestyle and Hannah's luxury. A spacious brownstone with room for everyone and a garage for Kyle's projects. Hannah wore a simple white dress, Lily was her bridesmaid, and Noah proudly carried the rings. As they exchanged vows, Kyle marveled at the journey that had brought them here from a chance meeting in Central Park to this moment of perfect belonging. At the reception, Hannah's business partner, Jessica, raised a toast. To Hannah and Kyle, proof that sometimes the universe knows exactly what it's doing, and to Noah, who got lost in just the right place at just the right time. Later, as they danced under twinkling lights, Kyle held Hannah close. Happy, he murmured against her ear. Completely, she whispered back. You know, I used to think I had everything figured out. My company, raising Noah alone, I was making it work. And now, Hannah looked up at him, her eyes shining. Now I know what I was missing. You showed me that strength isn't about doing everything alone. It's about having the courage to let someone in. Kyle kissed her softly. You've given me so much, Hannah. A new start, a family for Lily, a love I never thought I'd find. As the night wound down, they found themselves on the balcony of their new home, watching the city lights. So CEO Donovan Robinson, Kyle said, wrapping his arms around her waist. What's next for us? Hannah leaned back against his chest. I was thinking maybe we could talk about that bigger family we mentioned. Kyle's heart skipped a beat. Really? You want more kids? Hannah turned in his arms. I do. Watching you with Noah and Lily, you're an amazing father, Kyle. I want to see that every day, maybe with a little one of our own too. The idea filled Kyle with joy. I'd like that. Very much. A year later, their family expanded with the arrival of twin girls, Emma and Olivia. The delivery room was crowded, Kyle holding Hannah's hand, while Noah and Lily waited anxiously outside with Kyle's sister. They're perfect, Kyle whispered, cradling one tiny bundle while Hannah held the other. Hannah looked exhausted but radiant. Our family is complete now. When Noah and Lily were allowed in, their faces lit up with wonder at their new sisters. I'm a big brother 2 times, Noah exclaimed proudly. Lily gently touched Emma's tiny hand. Can I help take care of them, Dad? Of course you can, sweetheart, Kyle assured her. We're all in this together. As the children bonded with the babies, Kyle and Hannah exchanged a look of pure contentment. From that first chance meeting in Central Park to this hospital room filled with love, they had created something beautiful together. 5 years later, their family was thriving. Hannah had successfully expanded Donovan Tech internationally, while Kyle had opened a classic car restoration shop of his own, funded partially by Hannah but built entirely on his expertise and passion. They balanced their careers with family life, never forgetting what mattered most. Noah, now 11, had Kyle's passion for cars and Hannah's sharp mind. Lily, 13, was blossoming into a confident young woman with a talent for art. The twins, 5 and full of energy, were the perfect blend of their parents, Emma with Kyle's patience and Olivia with Hannah's determination. On their 5th wedding anniversary, as they watched their children playing in the backyard of their summer home, Hannah squeezed Kyle's hand. Do you ever think about that day in the park? What might have happened if you hadn't heard Noah calling for help? Kyle shook his head. I try not to. The idea of missing all of this, he gestured to their family, their home, the life they'd built. It's unimaginable. Hannah rested her head on his shoulder. You know, I spent years building my company, thinking success was measured in profits and market share. And now. She smiled, watching as Noah helped one of the twins climb higher on the playset, while Lily taught the other how to draw with sidewalk chalk. Now I know that real success is this, us, the family we've created. She looked up at him, the love in her eyes as strong as it had been on their wedding day. Thank you for helping my lost little boy, Kyle Robinson. Kyle kissed her softly. Thank you for helping a lost man find his way home, Hannah Donovan Robinson. As the sun set on their perfect day, they joined their children in the yard, playing and laughing until the stars came out. In each other, they had found not just love, but family, belonging, and a strength that came from facing life's challenges together. From a chance meeting in Central Park to a lifetime of love, theirs was a journey neither had expected, but both now treasured above all else.